What do women want, Devon Belter?
I really need is like emotional security.
When you find the one, it should be easy. And I'm like, it's not.
It's not. It's literally not easy. I can like get up, work out, go to work, make dinner, have a social life, make my own bag. Like, I don't need you.
I don't need no man. I think it's a little overkill. Men need to do a better job at speaking up for the right shit.
Nobody is actually perfect.
Women want men to go to therapy.
I need a partner who is more obsessed with me than I am with them.
Mm-hmm. Men are now performing to what women want to see.
I don't think that's what women really want. What's up?
We're back. We're both back.
We're finally in the same city together.
Crazy. And today we need to talk about something important.
We have a big question.
What do women want, Devon Belter?
What do women really want? Timothy Chalamet.
We were just talking about, which actually his name is Timotei, first of all. Let's get it right. But I'm like, does Kylie call him Timotei?
She probably does.
Timmy.
I can see her leaning into it.
We were just talking about Timotei Chalamet and how
he's
like,
what women really want.
Is that what women just want?
Yeah.
No, but let's unpack. Let's dive right in. I think in media right now, in podcasts, in films, in obviously on social media and the internet, there's just like a lot of discourse about, you know, the state of masculinity and what do women want? And I know this is quite like a heteronormative stance because obviously we're mainly talking about women and men, but I do think it boils down to like, what do women need?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I mean, the second you said it, I was like, fuck, what do I really need?
Sex, money, and drugs.
Yeah, like a big dick.
A big dick.
But what I really need is like emotional security.
Ooh.
I do not need a confident man anymore who's like driven, making big bucks, flexing, like shows up in a room and everyone's looking at him. I think this like whole allure of like a really like sexy, hot guy, like all the shit at the core, I don't think that's what women really want.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is interesting because I think there is a lot of women split on this, where some women miss traditional masculine, strong, stoic, kind of emotionally unavailable men. Like they just want someone that's going to protect them and, you know, be that masculine, traditionally very masculine figure that kind of corroborates with those gender roles. On the other hand, I think a lot of women like you, I think you're kind of in the middle, I think want males that are emotionally available, that can support a woman who might be the leading star or leading light in that relationship and might be taking kind of the driving seat, whereas historically men might have taken that driving seat. And I think for me, what is interesting is seeing the split and seeing how, you know, which I guess makes sense. Like people want different things and women aren't all the same and they might want different things. But I think it's causing men to have a real crisis of like, what the fuck should we be doing? Because whatever they are doing, it's not working.
Look, I think women now more than ever, it's like, I'd say the last 10 years, there's been this arc of like, we have to be independent. And like, remember that song? It's like INDEPE. Like, I think it was like this whole like independent movement and like, we don't need a man. And like, I can like get up, work out, go to work, make dinner, have a social life, make my own bag. Like, I don't need you. And I think the tides are kind of changing because for me, like I've always said, like I'm an independent woman, but I've always craved a relationship and like the security that comes with that and like the emotional security. So I'd say like for me, I think what I've really been working through is like my independence is probably a mask for like my biggest insecurity, which was not finding like an emotionally safe relationship. So I think like I question a lot of women who like have this rhetoric and have this persona of like independence, and that I wonder like, are we all just saying that because secretly we just crave emotional security?
Yeah, I think it's super important to have companionship. I think especially when you're trying to build something together with someone, like it's easier to build with two people than one. Emotionally, financially, like community is good. And I mean community, whether that's friends, you know, society or a partner. Like I am very pro partnership. And I do agree that the rhetoric of being an independent, I don't need no man, I think it's a little overkill. And I mean, we can did you see the article of having a boyfriend is embarrassing?
Yeah.
And I kind of, on one hand, get to what maybe they were trying to say, where, you know, if you make your boyfriend your whole personality, like, yes, that's embarrassing. But I also don't think the tone hit quite right, because I don't really necessarily agree with the messaging.
I think the messaging's super toxic.
Yeah.
When I saw that in the clickbait headline, I of course had to read it, and I just think the whole thing's so fucking stupid. I think it teaches women to then lean even more into their singledom, and like any women that I know, including myself, who have been single and gone through the era of like, I'm just going to sleep around with men, women, try different things, find hobbies, do my own shit, internally have always been depressed.
Yeah, well, I think two things can be true at once. I think you can have it all, just not at the same time. I think it's important to maybe have a period where you, and I think you did have that, where you figure out how to be happy and okay by yourself, where you're not, you know, outsourcing that happiness to other people, where your happiness isn't dependent on who likes you, who loves you. I think it's important to have that. I do. And I think that, honestly, I've never even had that. And I do think that for anyone to be in a really good space to find someone that matches them, that is compatible, that can give them what they need, they probably need that period to figure it out. I think two things can be true at once. I think you can have that, and then I also think that you can realize that in your future you want companionship and you want to build something with someone, and you might want to have kids, and you know, the only way you're going to do that is if you do prioritize relationships with people. So if I'm speaking from me, what do women want? I do think it is emotional security in someone. It is partnership. It is feeling like they aren't doing the emotional labor for someone else. And actually, I think that's one of the big issue with men is that, and you see countless articles about this, but women just doing their emotional labor. So, you know, they're not intimate with their friends, so women have to be kind of their sounding board for absolutely everything. And then women have to do the practical things in their life, and then women have to take care of the kids. And then at the end of the day, women are literally doing everything for these men.
Yeah. I would say the number one thing, based off of what you just said, that I think women really want is active listening.
Yes.
I think for me and many women that I know, at the end of the day, if the man is not actively listening and paying attention, you don't feel heard, you don't feel seen, you don't feel loved. I think it's a catalyst. I think men by nature are not overly communicative, as we all know. I think the dangers in that is because a man is lacking something, the woman has to overachieve, over make up for it. And then we've been living in the last 20 years where we're taught that you don't need a man and you can just be alone. And I just think it's so unhealthy. That's why I didn't like that article. I think there's a lot of influencers that I see right now that are preaching like singledom and don't settle. And I think it's really, really toxic to teach young girls because nobody is actually perfect. So if you teach someone to never settle until they find the perfect person, you will be alone and you will be miserable.
I so agree with that, whereby we've been taught. So I think, and again, this is where it's tricky. It's like a tightrope where I agree that there are things we shouldn't settle for. I think there are relationships where it's like, damn, like they're really not putting the effort in, and, you know, don't settle. Go find someone that can do that for you. But I think the tricky part is knowing which situations is like, I shouldn't have to settle with this, and which situations are, this is something I have to learn to work on. And this is something that I can't just bounce every time it gets hard. And this is something that like requires work and requires effort and requires communication. And that's the thing, you know, growing up, everyone said to me, when you find the one, it should be easy. And I'm like, it's not.
It's not. It's literally not easy.
It's not. And that was a lie. Whoever fucking told me that, it's a fucking lie.
Yeah, it's a lie. I don't know anyone in any relationship where they say that it's easy. And if you are, you're lying. I also think something I've navigated is like, do I want to be like sexually desired where the person that I'm with, we have amazing chemistry and they tell me I'm the hottest girl in the room? Or do I want to be with someone who's like intellectually responsible, communicative, and
can book a weekend away.
yes, and can help plan and be a contributor. And to me, that is sexy. I don't know if you can have both. And so I think that's a difficult thing that a lot of women have to navigate is, do you want to be with someone where it's this amazing love story, or do you want to be with someone who is financially and emotionally responsible and can build a life with you, but maybe it's not a passionate life? I have a friend right now who's going through a divorce, and she's having an affair. And she was like, you know, I'm so happy I'm in this situation because I'm finally feeling beautiful and loved again. And I said it's a slippery slope, because eventually that will pass, and then you will be alone and you will have fucked up your entire life. I don't know. I think it's something to think about, because I don't think you can have it all. Anyone that I know that has it all also has a really big missing piece that they don't want to talk about and they don't share. I think what women really want at the end of the day is respect. I think it's respect that I have not had for almost every relationship in my life, and that's been my missing piece. And when I finally found respect, I actually felt settled.
I think also respect comes with, you know, I kind of have to bring gender roles into this again, but for example, when I think about men and masculinity, my father is the most masculine guy I know. Like, he is, you know, strong and able to take care of the family, but in a way he's had to accept that him being masculine means him knowing when it's time to step back. So like, he was a stay-at-home dad for many years of my life. He is the domestic one. Like, my mum knows how to do nothing in the house. Like, he is the domestic one. He takes care of the house. Him being masculine to me is him knowing that he has to do that for the house to work, and not feeling emasculated because that is his role.
100%. A man who does not feel emasculated by being a contributor.
Yes. And so
basic.
I think as I was older and really thinking about gender roles, all of this came to me as a surprise, that, you know, this is an issue with men, because growing up I saw my dad doing these sort of like feminine gender roles, but yet being the most masculine guy I ever knew or saw, and not thinking that was weird, right? And so I think this whole emasculation thing of like men, you know, not wanting to contribute, not wanting to you know, kind of take the step back and say, my wife's going to earn more money if she's the one that works. So, hey, I have to take care of a baby. I mean, women do it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you think of the idea? I know it's like in my For You page right now. I don't know if it's on yours, but it's this whole idea of like, when women have to mother the man and the man is the baby, that's when you're in like the
Manchild.
Yeah. But then if your man or your partner babies you, like if you feel like the baby in
like
the
baby
relationship,
girl.
yeah, and you're like working hard and you're a successful woman, and you come home and you're like, I don't know how to turn the oven on, because it's like you're in this babied role. Like, I think right now there's like a lot of chat about how if in your relationship you feel like the baby, you're actually with a man. And I just think that's also toxic.
Well, I don't think it's to do with like, I think it's to do what you want to do when you come home at the end of the day working. Like, I know a lot of kind of like girl bosses or like my mum, like, she is a girl boss, and she wants to come home and sit on the couch and watch like Desperate Housewives. Like, she doesn't want to cook. And this is where my dad can step in and be like, you've been doing this all day, like, let me contribute, because, you know, and vice versa, right? Like, you know, she obviously does things for him as well that he doesn't want to do. I think it's about partnership, but I just don't think there should be an assigned gender role of who does what.
Yeah.
I think with the man-child thing, just to go back to that point, I think there is something innate in women that we are maternal, right? Like, we want to fix things, we want to take care of people, and I don't think that necessarily has to be all bad. I think that is a good thing. I think for when we become mothers, that is a good thing. I think in relationships where we do have to look after the house or look after a family unit, that is a good thing. But I have even been in a relationship with a man where, honestly, I do think it came to, like, why we didn't work, it came down to that I was exhausted. And it wasn't obvious to me that that's how I was feeling. I think only after much introspection and, like, retrospectively looking at the relationship, I realized that it actually didn't work out, because that's how I felt back then, where I had to do everything, like, hey, write that person a thank you card, hey, it's so and so's birthday, hey, let me do this application for you. Like, what am I doing?
It's too much.
Like, reminding someone to write someone a card because it's that person's birthday. I cannot be doing that.
Well, it's the whole idea of how women are not meant to be in the masculine, and how like this whole identity that we've taken on where we can do it all always has us in like our masculine and not in our feminine, and our hormones aren't wired that way.
And I think there can be both, right? Like I am someone who has very masculine traits, and this is exactly why this relationship that I'm talking about didn't work out, because I let the masculine traits override any sense of common sense. Like, I let it just fucking do everything and not really realizing, like, that person wasn't doing shit. And then in the end, when I'm feeling exhausted and don't know why, it's because I'm like, oh, for the last 5 years, I've been the masculine person for both of us. And they're a fucking man, you know? And so I think it's okay to have both. I think it's okay. I think every guy and every girl has both masculine and feminine traits. And I think it's knowing, like, how to work between you both and how to, you know, how they mesh and how they are compatible with each other.
I think there was like a meme, and I think I sent it to you a while ago, but it was like, men used to go to war, now they wear Van Cleef, or like men used to go to war, now they wear Chrome
And now
Hearts.
they read Judith Butler and drink matcha.
Yeah, and I was kind of giggling, and so I was talking to my boyfriend because I was telling him how I'm always traveling for work in the morning, like early morning flights, and I don't love taking Ubers with a man alone. And sometimes I just think like, fuck, if something was to happen, it's 4 a.m. and like, who's gonna pick up their phone? And so he was like, oh, well, you can choose a woman driver. And I was like, oh, that's smart. So then I was talking to a friend about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't realize you could just choose a women feature on Uber. And she's like, oh, I think they're actually going through a lawsuit right now because it's not fair to men, because women would be carving out and like taking some profit share from them. And I just like took a deep breath, and I was like, okay.
Well, if men weren't raping women, we wouldn't fucking need this.
And that is the problem. And that's what fires me up, is like, I agree, not fair and not equal. And then I thought, you know, if Trevor was an Uber driver and that was like affecting our life and that wasn't fair for him because now he's not getting as many rides, yeah, I'd probably be protective. But also, men are harming and raping women when they take Ubers. So it should be our right to not actively choose to put ourselves in a line of fire if we want to feel safe.
And can I say something about that? It's something I've noticed. I agree with men when they say we shouldn't be paying the sins of guys that do wrong, because I'm a good guy, I work hard, I protect my women at home, I protect my kid. Like, why am I paying the sins of this negative discourse surrounding guys? Fair play. I agree. You haven't done anything wrong. I'm going to look at you an individual and not say, you know, men suck, whatever. But here's the thing that I think is a problem. And it's something I started thinking about when I saw this post. So I saw a post from a tennis player. I forgot his name. And he's like a very masculine guy. And it was a post about him coming out as gay. And he was clearly kind of scared to come out. And in the post, he explains, you know, this is such a heteronormative world. If people are gay, they don't really come out, but I want to live authentically, so I'm gay, blah blah blah. And every single post under his, like the comments, it was either women or gay men congratulating him. There was no male tennis star, co-player, whatever, as an athlete congratulating him or saying, I'm here for you, bro. That is another, like a male, right? So that led me to think, if other men can't even support men in that situation, imagine in a situation where it's time to stand up for men doing wrong thing. When you see of a woman getting stabbed, when you see of a woman getting raped, when you see of, I don't see other men speaking up. It's other women speaking up, mostly, right? And so this is, I think, the problem. Like, I agree with men when they say, you know, don't put me in this bucket. Like, I haven't done anything wrong. And I'm like, well, the men need to do a better job at speaking up for the right shit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's a hard time because I also feel like, even going outside of men, but for me, like with my privilege, like something I think about a lot is I don't maybe speak up for underrepresented populations or minorities because for me, it's not affecting me. So even though I care, and I would say like I am very passionate and respectful I don't actively think about it because that's my own privilege, right? And I'm like going around in my life. If you told me a story, I would feel empathetic, compassionate, and like want to like engage that conversation, but then I would go on and live my life. And so I do think sometimes we're all like embedded in our own like nuclear worlds that we're all living, and we are all self-obsessed to some point, that if a man sees another man doing wrong, do they just think, exactly to your point, well, I'm not doing that, and then they go on about their day? And that's why I think like years and years just compound of bad behavior. I also think like with age, I see men at one point in their life like, oh, I just want the hottest girl in the room. I don't care if we can even talk about anything. I just want all of my guy friends. She doesn't even have to be hot in person. She can be hot on Instagram that she has like fucking warped the shit out of. Like, no offense, but like I'm just getting very sick of this. But like, you can have the hottest girl on your phone. All of your friends will think you're cool. There's no like intimacy emotionally or intellectually. But then 10 years later, something ticks in their brain, like the taxi cab theory from Sex and the City. And they're like, oh, now I want to be a husband and a father. And then all of a sudden, maybe they don't want the hottest girl on Instagram. They want a woman who's kind, compassionate, close with her family. And I think it's just very interesting how with age, what men want change. And I wonder, like, do you feel like as a woman, what you want has changed?
Oh, 100%. But I also think that it's possible that you could be with someone, like I know many people who obviously have been together since they were young, right? And I think it's possible that you can change together over time. Like you're changing in the right direction, and that's how you're still together. Like you can change in the right direction. And I think when relationships break down or don't work out, it's because both people are changing and what they want changes, and you're not going in the right direction. And I think that's okay, which is also why I think it's so tough that divorces and breakups are so villainized, because it's so normal to just change. It's like, what I want this year has changed, and the promises I made to you are no longer valid, and I'm sorry.
I love that you said that. My 2 cents on this that I wish that I had when I was going through breakups, the narrative of like you calling the friend, I'm so sad, I've been broken up with, or like this didn't work. And then the friend being like, I'm so sorry, you're going to be okay. Maybe shitting on the person. But like, I wish the narrative was like, oh my God, congrats. You're this much closer
to getting what you want,
getting the person that's right for you. Maybe it's celebratory. Like, I'm a little bit like over the like, let's binge eat ice cream on the couch, bawl and cry, be self-deprecating, because 2 people not being right for each other is quite normal.
I think it's just society has, it's, you know, even we talked about divorce before, where I'm like, I don't think it's such a huge issue. It's going to be hard on kids, like for sure, if there's kids involved, it's going to be hard on everyone. But I think that's why it's hard on kids, because of how it's been positioned and how it's been viewed and how it's been talked about and how but it is hard. Feelings are still valid. You go through a breakup, you're upset. Like what you thought was true is no longer true. The person you thought you were going to do all these things with is not going to be that person anymore. And I think people have the right to feel that way. But I also think it's especially heartbreaking when nothing has gone wrong and you still love that person so deeply, but you realize you want kids and they don't, or you realize you want to live somewhere and they don't want to live that. Like, it's so, I almost wish sometimes from like, I wish they cheated on me, or like, I wish something had gone wrong, because I have a friend going through it now. It's just so heartbreaking. Yeah. When nothing has gone wrong.
I have a friend who also is going through a divorce right now. And when I asked, like, what would you say has been the hardest part? They said betrayal. And I do think, like, the hardest part about divorce is the betrayal of somebody not being honest with you, with where they're at, what they need, what they want.
Like, you have to be honest.
Yeah. I think like the honesty that's lost in relationships 99% of the time is due to not wanting to hurt the other person. But by doing that,
you're hurting them
so much more.
Yeah, especially if you prolong it for so long. And that is also why, I mean, I've said this before, but if if I had a wedding in front of people, I just don't think I could do vows. Maybe we could do vows and I could just say all the things I love about that person. But I would never do my vows as a promise, because there is absolutely, I've said this before, I can't promise anything. Like, absolutely nothing.
The things you love about
Oh, yeah, I'd look
someone.
at them and be like, I think that's nice. Maybe I'd write a poem. I love poems. I love writing. So I'd be like, here's a poem.
You never wrote me a poem.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll write you a poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. Devon, you're cute, and I love you.
Oh, that was good and on the spot. Thank
I'm a little
you.
wordsmith.
Thank you, Angel.
You're welcome.
I think too, like, with what women want, it's always changing. And I think like another thing that kind of fires me up is like the whole idea that women are always changing their mind, and with changing your mind comes devalue of your opinion. And so like if you feel one way and then next year you feel another way, it can be eye rolly. And to me, I'm like, this is actually growth.
The double standards.
Yeah.
Okay. This doesn't relate exactly to what you're saying, but I have been thinking about the double standards with women and men. And did you watch the latest Dancing with the Stars?
Love. But I also love Alex Earl.
No, I know. She should have won.
I'm
She
a
was
giggly
robbed.
pop for her.
She was kind of robbed. But so Whitney Levitt, Secret. Was it Secret Lives of Mormon?
Yeah.
I've always followed her since she'd like danced with her kid in the hospital in the background. Iconic.
Yes. Iconic.
So she was literally villainized because all the VTs, all the videotapes showed her saying, you know, I'm going to go back to Secret Lives of Mormon, because on that season they were casting for Dancing with the Stars. So she was like, if I just do the season, I can get cast.
Yeah.
Everyone thought that was just like outrageous, that she was like using Secret Lives of Mormon to like go on Dancing with the Stars. And I'm like, if it was a guy, they'd be like, he's so strategic.
No, I know.
Like, he's so smart.
Yes.
But because it's a woman, they were like, she's using people, she's using the show, and she's just like
disingenuine, inauthentic.
At least she's honest about it.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell. At least she says, yeah. Like, also, anyone going on any type of reality show, like,
Yeah,
you
there's
obviously
always
have
a
an end
bigger
goal. Yeah, of
plan.
course. So
if you don't have a bigger plan and you're doing reality TV,
For
I'm
the-
like
for the shits
worried
and
and
gigs.
concerned.
just for a good time, really.
No, I'm afraid.
It's quite funny. And there was just like, everyone just was like, fuck her, like, she's not even legit. And I'm like, she's literally being honest about the fact that she did that show to get cast on, like,
Isn't she a Mormon?
yes, she is.
Yeah, so like who cares?
But it's
Maybe
just the
if
double
she was
standards.
not Mormon and then was
I
like,
mean, fuck, I'd still do it. Like, I'll do it. Like, that's the thing. She was honest about it, and people just thought it was so outrageous. And I don't even think it was that big of a deal, her saying that. And now she is cast in Chicago as Roxy Hart.
Love.
So
winning.
karma.
And also women just love to hate other women. So
Oh my god,
it's never ending.
So
the cycle never ends.
So I was thinking about this because I was thinking, like, do I or have I ever dressed, like, the things I wear, the things I do, is it for men or other women? Well, for me it's different because also I'm not straight, so discount that. But I don't care how men see me. Like, I really don't. It's always women, and not
Always.
even in like a flirtatious, like, I want to capture their attention. It's more of like, how do women view me in society? Like, we dress for other women.
Yes.
We get judged only by other women. Like,
There has been very few times where like I've done a full like blowout beauty routine, got a new fit, and I'm like I'll just use the holidays right now, like for holiday parties. Like, do you think I'm in a sequin flare for a man? No.
it's for the girlies.
Yeah, it's for the girls. So it's just like, it's such a giggle to me because like even like when you go to Sephora, women are buying beauty, in my opinion, to show other women the beauty that they buy, to then have community to talk about the beauty that they wear.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to me, I'm excited about that, and because I'm in the beauty industry. But like, how fun is it? And this is just like, for me, I love like seeing a girl pull out a Summer Fridays lip gloss and me be like, I have
love
one
that.
too.
Yeah.
It's like not for the man. And so my biggest like advice that I give younger girls when they ask me for advice, I always have, first of all, a laugh, because I'm like, taking dating advice from me, we must take with a grain of salt. But what I can say is that when you start living life for you and asking for what you want, your world opens up.
Oh, 100%.
So if I had started asking for what I want from a man, I would have like saved myself a lot of grief and a lot of years.
And sometimes it's like even you asking what you want, they might not give it to you. Like they might be incapable of giving that to you. You just have to get really granular and set on like what it is you need, what it is you want, what are your love languages? Like can that guy show up in that way? If not, can he learn? If he can't learn, then bounce. Like you have to just get so granular with what it is you want and who you are. And it is heartbreaking when I hear of like, you know, and I felt like this, like when you love someone so much and there's so many things that are so great, but ultimately they can't give you what you want. Like,
it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It makes me sick thinking about it.
I think it's happening as, you know, we're like kind of in the peak of our careers and stuff. Like I'm thinking of a friend who he has this amazing career, she has this amazing career, and I think what they almost need is like someone to be almost like the cheerleader, but they both need that. So then they never see each other. No one can be a cheerleader. They're very focused on their career, which again, no one should have to and that's what's hard, is no one's asking for compromise. Like, you know, he's not saying you have to compromise, she's not saying you have to compromise. They're just like, fuck, this can't work.
Yeah.
And that's really, really hard.
We all need a cheerleader.
Do you think that then, but I think, you know, back to the first point you made on today's episode, what do women want? Do they just want to be looked after in a way that's respectful, but they also don't want to admit that because of the I don't need no man rhetoric?
I was laughing because I was giggling with like a friend the other day, and I was like, yeah, when I first started dating my boyfriend, I like Googled what his salary would be for his role. Because like ultimately, like I need to be with someone who can take care of me, not only emotionally, but also financially. Like I'll just put that out there. But I also make very good money and have my own career.
Yeah.
So like I do want that, even though I already have it in my own life. I'm not ashamed to admit that now. I think it's taken me a lot of time to be comfortable with saying like I do want a man who can also financially support me. People will hate it,
and I think people want and that's the thing. I think that's what you want, and I do think people might want different things. Like I think
I'm not working forever. I'll just say that.
And honestly, I think that's the reality with as someone who, not me, I'm just saying you want kids. Like if you are someone that want kids, you also have to think about it like that, right? Like you're gonna have, if you want to stay at home with the kids for a bit.
I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. So what do you think? Like, what's your answer?
It's hard for me to give an opinion because I'm in such a unique point where I'm bisexual. So when I think of relationships, I also think of like, what do I want from another woman? And that's really hard to think about because you don't have those gender norms to go to kind of be your springing board. Not that I think that gender norms should be your springing board, because as I said, like I think you have to work with your partner on what you bring to the table. Like, am I more masculine in this way or am I more feminine? But when you have both people of the same sex, what if like, you know, like me and my wife, it's very funny because we both have very masculine traits and both have very feminine traits, and the ways in which we are masculine differ and the ways in which we are feminine differ. And it's so funny in there is moments where she's just like, I wouldn't expect you to be so like feminine here, like what, like, you know, you're this girl boss that goes and do this, but then sometimes I'm lazy to like babe, like please. Or, you know, with her, like I don't know, it is kind of, it's a different position to be in, if I'm being completely honest. But I think genders aside, sex aside, I think that you want someone that will put in the same amount. Reciprocity. I think reciprocity is important, and I don't think that you both are going to show up in the same ways. And I think in the start of my marriage or in my relationship with my wife, I had a hard time. I was kind of tallying up everything tit for tat. So I'm like, oh, I was cute today, she's not being cute back, so like, what the fuck? I wasn't seeing the other ways in which she was contributing or being reciprocal because it wasn't tit for tat. It wasn't in the same like domain.
Yes.
which sounds so fucking silly.
It doesn't though, because we all are guilty of that.
It sounds so stupid because I'm like, why wouldn't you see the other ways? But I did it. I really did it. I was measuring everything equally of like, I brought her flowers. Like, why isn't she bringing me flowers? But then she'd be doing all these other things for me that I don't do for her, right? I still don't. And I just was not seeing those things. And even now, like, but now I realize, and now I'm like, open my eyes to this world of like, oh my God, you do contribute so much. It's just not the same. Like, love languages, and it's not the same. But I think you have to do the work of being like, you just speak different languages, but the minute that you can start learning each other's language and seeing what they do for you, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I also like empower everyone that people will only show up for you to the capacity that they can. So if you're with someone and you feel like they're not showing up for you, they're not doing sweet things for you, they're not actively listening, you have to tell them. Mm-hmm. Say, hey, I could tell you weren't listening. It hurt my feelings. This is what I need in this moment. If you're busy, say, hey, I know you want to talk about this. I actually cannot give you what you want right now to actively listen. Can we talk about this in an hour?
Yeah.
But then you have to be emotionally prepared to take the other person's answer.
Yeah.
And I think for me, devil's advocate, there's been plenty of times where like I want the person to give me full attention, but then when they want full attention from me, I'm annoyed because I'm like, I'm working.
Yeah. So it's a reciprocity thing. Yeah. And I think honesty is great. I think we just talked about it, like being honest. I mean, like, whether that's being faithful and not cheating, or whether that's like, hey, this is what I need in this relationship, and it is a hard conversation, but I think you're giving them that dignity and you're giving them that respect, which is why I think like for the first time in my life I'm in a relationship where, and I've said this before, we have had conversations of like, the minute we are marching in different directions, it's okay. Like, we love each other more than the need to be together. And when we got married, we didn't make these promises. We got married because we want to experience like this love to its full capacity of like, if we love each other, like, I want it to be the max we can take it.
Yeah.
But if we wake up one day and you want something different and I want something different and we're not marching the same direction, like, that's okay. Mm-hmm. And we just be honest about that. We need to be honest rather than lying, or rather than, you know, disappointing each other somehow. And it's also okay, but it's also okay to try. Like, it's also okay to, like, you know, work at things. And I think women do also like that. Women like people that don't give up, whether that's another woman or a man. Like, work at therapy. Women want men to go to therapy.
When I see a man journaling or in therapy, I am like, like, love. I also think, like, my last point, I think in a relationship, for me, I need a partner who is more obsessed with me than I am with them. Mm-hmm. Because I have OCD, I have a bunch of mental health. So I just, like, I joke about it, but, like, for me, what isn't healthy is being in a relationship
where you're chasing them.
Chasing a partner. I am obsessed with a partner. I am seeking validation from a partner. I need to be with someone who is more obsessed with me than I am with them. I'm going to say that. People won't like it. I literally don't care. I would say it to my boyfriend now. I have said it to him. I like that he is more obsessed with me, because it is not healthy for me to not feel
chasing,
my tank full, and it creates a lot of like insecurity for me.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, I always challenge my friends in relationships with like what that looks like, with like the push and the pull, because the highs of being so in love and so infatuated with someone, the lows for me just don't work.
Yeah. I mean, we've both been there. To go back to your point about the therapy and the journaling, so there is this new thing called the performative male, which essentially is men are now performing to what women want to see. So it's like, I go to therapy, I journal, I'm wearing a tote bag, and I am reading Judith Butler, and like,
crazy.
I drink matcha, and it's like, there is discourse out there surrounding like,
I'm giggling.
How true are these men? Like, is it just because they want women
cosplay? Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they're not doing it consciously. Maybe it's an unconscious thing of like, if they are that sort of. And I don't know if that's what women necessarily want. I mean, I'm sure there is that flavor for everyone. Like, I'm sure a woman, like,
yeah.
There is also this thing, and I learned about it recently, because with me and my bisexuality, I find it fascinating that with women, I like really girly women. Like, they need to be so girly. They need to be wearing makeup and heels and like,
Yeah.
and
Like a little femme.
like a little. And it's so funny because I think my wife is very feminine, but when I tell her I think you're girly and feminine, she's like, no, like I am. I'm like, babe, just because like you like climb a ladder like doesn't make you less feminine. Like, you're still very girly in my eyes. And she's like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm sporty. And I'm like,
love the
oh my
climbing
god.
ladders.
I'm like, just because you kill bugs, like, come on. So we have a disagreement there, but she is very feminine. And then with men, I like love muscles and like big strong guys and like the rugby build and like not necessarily like sculpted, but I like the dad bod, like just big men.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be tall. I just like big guys. And someone recently told me this is called preference for dimorphism, which means you have a preference for the utmost gender performing attributes of that gender. So like feminine women, masculine men. So I need to like dig deeper into psychology of
I
that.
was gonna say I want to like talk about this next time because my head's like spinning, but I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But I'm
It's
like,
called preference for
oh.
dimorphism, which is like if you assign the most feminine traits to a woman and if you assign the most masculine traits to a man, this is what it looks like. And I have a preference for that where like I don't like anything. Like I am not attracted to the tote wearing, matcha drinking, Judith Butler reading boy. But I'll like UFC fighter. Yeah.
Love that. I love a UFC fighter. I like a really masculine man like that.
Yeah.
But I also like a more emotionally
but like your
sensitive
boyfriend
man.
loves sake. like I could probably see him like drinking a like tea like this.
He's so sweetie cute.
But he's like honestly like he is so perfect for you.
Yeah. Heart.
On that note,
keep watching, babe, and give us the views.
and let us know what you guys think what women want because we're just two gals. We have different opinions and we're only two subsets of the female sex. I was
Yeah, I
gonna say
wanna
gender, but we
know.
all know that gender is a spectrum and there's I need to do like some acknowledgements here. To not
On
piss
that
anyone off.
note, bye.